Okay, if you watched my last video, I addressed the video to Ken. Ken is the guy with bad shoes that made the video, that made this possible for me to be able to do this, because it's just something I've never done before. But anyway, he answered all the questions. If you look below the comment, in the comment, he answered all that. So now I'm going to take these clutches. Again, there's 4 of them on the reverse clutch. These are the ones that have the wafers. I don't know why. I don't understand all this, but that's the type they use on the reverse clutch. And then on the forward clutch, they use these smooth kind. I don't understand why. I don't know. So, according to him, according to the book, these now have to be soaked in transmission fluid. But also you need to soak your bands in transmission fluid. Now, okay. Gonna take this old gasket off. However, looks like it's gonna be a job. They snap together. I'm just going to go over, again, I'm not the expert, but I'm putting it together from an expert's video. They call this the pump housing. So I'm just going to tell you some observations I made. The first thing, again, this is for people that have never done it before. You saw that I knocked this bushing out. Well, when I knocked the bushing out, then I was thinking, what does it do? Because it's loose. This is yeah. Okay, I want to show you something about these gears that I'm going to put on. So you can see this the square edge here, and the chamfered right there where my finger is, where it steps down. But also, I got to do this. I couldn't see it with my eye, but you see that top of there's a chamfer. That's the bottom on this gear. See, this side doesn't have that chamfer. This side does, and it has that dot. These both chamfer sides go down. So anyway, like I said, that chamfer sides go down. I'll put I'll put some lube right here for the smaller gear, and some lube right there for the bigger gear. Yeah, there's something I forgot to mention in this video. I talked about it in that last video when I had questions to Ken. Now this is what he says. Right here, where my fingernail's dragging, if there's a lip there at all, you probably need to replace this. Like a step. Well, I don't have that, so I'm okay. Again, put plenty of fluid here. Okay, now we're going to put the, I call this the pump. Again, I'm not an expert, but I think I said this before. I'm pretty sure that's what causes all the pumping for the transmission. So I think this is the stator, and this is the stator support. So we're going to put some fluid on here right now. This is the worst oil can. Again, this is all there is to rebuilding this thing. Really, you're looking for that bad wear down there, and then the seal. You're going to have to line these holes up. That's what you're looking for. So where am I? So that hole's going to go there. So I'm just going to raise this up a little bit. Okay, all my holes are lined up. Just to double check. There's really two holes that line up, but the main hole's that one, and that one. Put the bolts in. These are the ones I took out. There was no washers. Oops. There's a spring in here, by the way. Some kind of ball here. Make sure you get make sure all these balls are in. I guess there's springs inside all of them. Okay, tighten these 12 to 20 foot-pounds. I'm just going to go like I don't know. I'm just going to go in the middle. I think I got them all. Okay, you're going to take the O-ring. Ken's video, so he says put some Vaseline on there. This will help slip it in later. Okay, I'm going to show you something that I almost made a mistake on. There's 4 seals that go on here. They're all the same thickness this way. So it confused me when I took. In fact, when you saw when I took them off, I measured them. If I didn't cut that out, but this way, there's 2 that are thicker. I don't know if you can see that, and I'm not going to do a zoom up, but you see the difference? They're thicker this way. The thicker 2 go on the bottom. 84. 92. Hey, you see that? They snap together like a finger joint. Back. This is done for now. We're going to put it aside. Okay, I'm going to put this clutch together. This is the forward clutch. I already put some of it together in the other video, but we were soaking the pads. So I'll make sure I get the right one. So I don't know if this should be lubricated, but I'm going to do it. Because I got some stuff in it. Just enough to lubricate it. So the round part goes down. Now these are the ones that are not wafered. Not this one, this type. A steely, they call it. Another one of these. Now this will oil that plate. And I'm kind of lining up the I don't know if that matters, but I'm kind of lining up these teeth. Another steely. Another one of these. And again, I'm going to kind of line up the teeth down below. Another steely. The last one of these. Line up the teeth below. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit on here. If you watched that last video, the one I sent to Ken, I already checked the clearances. So the snap ring. Okay, we're gonna set that aside for now. That clutch pack is done. This is the main problem with the car. I don't know if I showed it, but just being real here, I had a problem that this piece would not slide over that. There's a name for it that I can't think of. Anyway, I opened that up. So now we put the springs in. Just gonna put a little Vaseline to hold it in place. You know, these springs are a hair bent, some of them, right at the bottom. So I'm putting that part down. I went to the transmission shop. He said they were fine. So there's actually a round area to capture it. So now this goes on, and this is the problem I had before. So I'm gonna just show you, well, all I'm gonna do is get the springs into here. But then I gotta go use a press to get it in. So when you do this, make sure all the springs are in. Okay, so here's a press. This press came with the house. I've used it like twice. So I don't have the right handle, but I'm gonna tighten this valve with a pair of pliers. So here's the tool I got off Amazon. I think I showed it when I took it apart. The trick is getting this plate that I was showing you straight down. Let's see if I can do it this time. Yeah, this time I got it. So now I gotta put a snap ring on. Look at that, it's barely on, son of a bitch. I was too busy concentrating on this. So this snap ring has got those weird edges. I don't know if I can use these pliers. It's gonna be a struggle. And eventually I'll get it, I hope. Ah, these things suck. Ah. Man, I wish I had the right pliers for this. Again, I don't have any choice. I gotta get this on somehow. This pump is slipping. There it goes. It's in. I'm gonna back off. Alright, that was a tough one. Well, you know what? All the springs aren't in. Get that one in. They're mostly in. Okay, are all the springs in? I'm looking down in. There's a spring right there. It's not in. Not in all the way. Got it. There's another one not in all the way. Got it. They're all in. So now I can put the clutches in. So now I can put the clutches in. So this one's a little bit different. This does not get a round plate on the bottom. I'm just going to put some. Don't know if I have to or not, but I'm gonna. Steely. One of these wafer. Again, I'm just going to put some stuff on here. Some fluid. Oh, wrong one. That's the one that goes on top. Almost screwed up again. I would have caught that one. Again, these were soaking for a couple hours while I was doing something else. Wafer. Again, I'm lining up these teeth. Now, eventually I'll show you why. It's not necessary, but it might make it a little bit easier. Another Steely. This container I got here, all I did is take those things from soaking into here. I was going to carry that container I showed earlier. I think it's leaking. So I'm just looking at this to see if there's any wear on this, because you can flip it. There's hardly any wear. I mean, I can't tell the difference. Maybe you can, but I can't. Yeah, I think there's more wear on this side. I should check all these for straight. This one is perfectly straight. In other words, you don't want it cupped in the middle. I don't know if I said that before. Again, if you watched the last video, I already did the gapping, the measuring. The video that I sent to Ken asking some questions. This is not as easy as it looks. Not for me anyway. Make sure it's all the way in. It's in. Again, watch the last video, but I'll just give you a hint. There's a tolerance, and I can't remember what it is right now. So now we're going to set this aside. We've got the two clutches together today. Let's see, it's to the side. Again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over. I am basically following this DVD from Ken at Bad Shoe Productions. Best video I've ever seen in my life for these kind of things. If you saw my oil spill video, well, I got all this fluid that's been soaking that I used on the clutches and the bands, but this thing's leaking. I need to get this stuff out of here. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it in these cans, but I'm going to try. So I got that draining into that catcher, that residue. And now I'll show you the stuff I got out of those parts I cleaned today. Okay, so we're going to do an air check. This is a select washer number 1. This is the original one, but I just need this for the test. So now I'm going to have to slip the direct clutch, or I think it's the reverse clutch. Over this. Now I'm going to have to get over these little rings. Hopefully it just drops right over. Which it isn't. Which is a problem. There it goes. If you watch these clutches, they should come up. So you see these 3 holes right here? That's the one we're going to use. So I just got an air hose, put a rubber fitting on because I need it big enough to cover that hole. So we'll just do the other 2 first, and you'll see that those aren't the ones. Those are just blowing air right through. Try to get out of the way. So these should come up as the piston comes up. You see it come up? So basically what that's telling me is that the piston is working below. I don't know if I showed that, but so here's the piston that I put the springs on earlier with that spring retainer and the springs, and this is the piston that goes down in there, and it's got a piston seal, the shaft I guess you'd call it. Go right in here, either goes here or there. Okay, I'm going to remove the reverse clutch. I'll put the forward clutch on. I'm going to put these rings on here to get it at the right height. This is not the final thrust washer. We'll talk about that later. But I gotta slip it past these rings again. Okay, I went back to the video. That is all the way down for this one, which explains to me now why there was different size rings. Seals. The bigger seals went on the bottom and the smaller ones went on top, so the diameter is just a little bit different. But anyway, so we're going to try it again. We're going to go back to the hole we did for the reverse clutch, and I did nothing. There it is. So it's this second one over from this mounting hole. So watch that. You can also hear it maybe. Okay, so we know the piston's working in here, the clutches are coming up, everything's working. The reason we did that check right now is that when we put the piston together with the seals I was showing you a second ago, we could have ripped them or tore them, or they could have been out of place. So this is a quick check to make sure that right now these are good. On the C4, this thrust washer is what sets the end play. Okay, I'm going to talk about, now we're to the point where I need to set the thrust washer. Again, I don't remember exactly what I covered, so maybe I'm doing it again. So when I checked the end play in the very beginning before we tore it apart, I had 0.51. The book says on page 737 that I should only have 0.008 to 0.042. So I need to get that 51 down, and the only way to get it down is kind of like, it's counterintuitive, but you have to make this thicker. So I went down to my local transmission shop. The thrust washer had worn down because there was a lot of weight, I guess, or wear on this. That was on there was 55. By the way, these are called selective washers. This one and this one. It means, and I didn't know what that meant when I started, but it means they have different sizes. You can select the size you need. This is the one I think I want to use. This is a 71, so 55, this is like 16. This is 16 thousandths bigger than this. So 16ths down from 51, I'm just going to do this rough in my head, is, let's see, 16 down from 51, 41, 38, I think, 38, something like that. But this is the one I want to use. Okay, so I'm just going to set these other ones aside. This is the original one. I'm just going to set that over there. By the way, when I went to the transmission shop, he gave me a bunch of washers. I don't know if I said this before either, but he just said, I mean, he's a good guy. I kind of know him. Kind of. He's not a friend, but he's kind of a, you know how you make friends at certain places? So he gave me, I got 3 of these. Again, I looked at the book and I said I need these 2 sizes. So I brought it home. That's going to be right. And then this, again, this is number 2 select thrust washer. You got to read the book to understand all this. It's very confusing. This is number 1 thrust washer. Well, we're going to have to change that too. So that's what we're leading to. it doesn't set the end play, but we don't want any slop. So when I went down there, he saves these, and he had bought some, so he had these. So we're gonna be getting to that in a second. Oh, well, the point was that he said, yeah, just take them home and come back and bring back what you don't need, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna write this down, and then I'm gonna check it afterwards. So I picked a 71. I think I said I had a 55. And I had a 55. Let me just do that math. 55. I don't know if I can do this under the pressure of a camera. So let's see, 10 take away 5 is, 11 take away 5 is 6. 5 from 6 is 16, yeah. So 16. So I'm going down from 0.51 minus 16. 6 from 11 is 5. 1 from 4 is 3. So yeah, I went down to 35. And the book says, again, I'm also talking to myself, the book says between 8 and 42, so I'm down to 35. So let's just say I wanted to go down further. So again, the starting number is 55. I'm looking for my caliper that I just had. It's these stupid glasses. Where is it? Let's just see if I can see if we can figure this out. Everybody else is probably smarter than me. Make sure I'm on 0. So we had a 55 thrust washer. We had a 55 thrust washer when our end play was 51. So if I go to this one, which is a 90, the difference between 55 and 90 is, I want to say 45. That doesn't sound right though. I think it's 35. Let me just do it. Let me use my phone. These modern phones are great. But again, I say you double, triple, quadruple yourself when you're doing something you've never done before. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm just sharing it because it can be confusing. So I just said, I had a 55, and this was a, what did I just say? This is a 92, so 92 minus 55 is 37. So 37 away from 51, which is the original end play, so write this down. And Ken, if you're watching this, you can tell me if I'm doing this right. So, 51 minus 37 is 14. So again, we're going from, it's from 08 to 42, so if I use that washer, I'll be 6 points above at the very low, and if I use the other one, I'm going to be about the same in reverse. I think I said 37, which is 36, let's see, 40, 42, 37, that's 3, that's 5.
Dressel, 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 drone. Time for this one to come home.
Gee, Mr. Wizard, looks like I made a mess out of things again.
Always, I tell you, Tudor, be just what you is.
So it's almost, I'm right in a weird spot. So I'm just gonna go with the little more slop, which was this one. double check ourselves. It's so easy to screw this up. So we originally had 55, so this should be the next size up. Yeah, 72, that's it. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. It's confusing to me, but I feel confident now. So I'm gonna put some Vaseline on here this time because I want this thing to stay here, I'm pretty sure. If I flip it over, I don't want it to fall out. Okay, so let's just recap. I'm doing this again, I'm doing this for me too. Because we're starting to put this back together. I still got one more thing to rebuild as the governor, but... So we rebuilt the pump. I think that's in this video. Let's see, did we actually rebuild it? We rebuilt it because we checked it. So I'm just thinking through my head, everything was good. We put a new seal on here. The bushing, all the bushings so far are good. We put the new seal on here, which is going to go into the torque converter. Push the torque converter on, it clicks. That's not right. You turn it, clicks 3 times. So now we want to take the reverse clutch and put the forward clutch on top of it. I don't know if we've done that yet, but we're going to do it right now. So, if you remember, I was talking about lining up the teeth of the clutches. You can't line them up perfect because they can slide this way, and they can be out of synchronicity. I don't know what the word. So I'm just going to put a little grease on here, a little oil on here. Maybe Ken will watch this video and answer it. What the heck is this writing on? It looks like it's writing on here. It just blows my mind that there's no... Everything else has a washer. This doesn't. Okay, so this is kind of like the putting the torque converter on. You got to make sure you're down all the way. I think I got one more notch to go. Right there. That's all the way down. That's the way it should look. And while I'm at it, this washer here, which I have to look at the book. And I don't have the pages memorized. So we had the number 1. We have the number 2. This is the number 3. So somewhere, so again, I went over to that transmission shop. And he had one. It looks different. So again, I'm just gonna oil, what the heck. Now I want this one to stick on here too. I just figured this out, that if it looks like it has wear, it probably means watch out. So that looks like it has wear, I replaced it. Okay, now we're gonna put the drum and ring gear. So this, again, this was the reverse clutch, forward clutch, forward clutch hub, and ring gear. So we have the number 3 washer. This is not a select washer, but it's a thrust washer. So we're gonna have the same thing, we're just gonna have to wiggle it in place. Again, if you're doing this the first time, I put this together a couple times. That's not down far enough. I think that's it right there. I'm thinking maybe it's not down all the way, so. There it goes. Okay, so I was right. It wasn't down all the way. Again, Ken, I'm going to keep saying Ken because he's a bit like my mentor now. But for anybody that's doing this for the first time, that's how it should look. It's below the forward gear, just barely. And if you look inside here, it's actually sitting on that thrust washer. So it wasn't sitting on the thrust washer. That's why I thought it wasn't done all the way. So again, we're to a point where you have to start really thinking about it. I'm going to need a thrust washer here. As far as I know, everywhere you don't need a thrust washer, except where I was saying I don't understand why there wasn't one. Okay, now we're going to take the forward planet, and you can see, I was just saying that there should be a thrust washer, where here it is. And if I didn't say it before, most all of these have tangs, I think, except for the number 1. So you just make sure you pick the right hole. So it's got 3 tangs. It's probably these 3 holes right here. And it is. Again, I have some Vaseline on there. Gonna lube this up. I'm gonna lube these gears too. Now, I don't think I think I lubed this before, but I'm just not gonna take a chance. Especially in between. And I gotta get out of here. I'm trying to rush this. And there's a washer down inside here too, which doesn't come out unless you take out these planet gears. So the thrust washer's on. This is all lubed up. This is pretty well lubed up. I'm just going to put some more on here. Can't hurt, right? Kind of weird because these gears are kind of going like, I don't know how to show it. They're going that way. So again, I don't know much about transmissions, but this, why they have a planet, I really don't know the answer to that. There's some obvious answer that I don't know. I mean, why is it going from 1 gear to 3? There's some reason that I don't get. I guess because it's transferring, again I'm talking to myself, it's transferring from here down to a smaller size. I think that's what's going on here. Everything is still turning. They're still good. Again. Okay, again, I'm just going to go over some things that confused me in the beginning. There's 2 sun gears. Or 2 planet gears. This one's got the tangs. That'll be later. The other thing I did not do, I just realized, I have not, so I'm going to have to fall back. I did not get the right washer here yet. I'm going to have to go back and watch that tape. I think this whole mess is going to sit on top of here, or I flip it over. I'm not sure right now. but we'll get back to that. But anyway, so now they call this the input shell, and this is called the sun gear. I'm just going to go through the names real quick. Reverse clutch, forward clutch, forward hub and ring. The ring is what the planet sits in. The front planet carrier, the input shell. So I might have to take this apart, but that's okay. So I'm going to make sure that the other thing I don't know if I said, make sure you lubricate in here the bushings. And I'm going to get oil on the gear. Now, I was just talking about, before my mind got confused, there is that bearing in here. It's going to be double sure. Put some more on here. So again, this is the input shell. You're going to see this is going to kind of close up this whole clutch bag. Okay, so yeah, this dang gun, it leaks like a sieve. I got this off Amazon. Every once in a while you get something lousy. Well, this is one of those things. There's also a washer on here that I had asked Ken about, a thrust washer. I know I'm jumping around because I'm not an expert at this. That particular thrust washer, which I think is number 5, the book kind of skips over it on page 739, but it's locked in there by a snap ring. You can take it apart, you don't have to. Again, this is not a select washer. Most of these washers are not. I think just number 1 and 2. So again, if it doesn't look really bad, where your finger, everything is going to be the same. If your fingernail can drag across, if your fingernail catches, you probably need to replace it. So right now, this is a complete package as far as I know. So I'm going to pull this apart. I believe this goes upside down. Put this on without a thrust washer. Again, this needs to be flat, but when I put this washer right down in there, a whole bunch of slop. So I got these other ones. I think yellow's the thickest. But that is a good fit. So I got a 24, a 23, a 22, a 21, and an 11. That's way up there. But that's what it is. So let's add these up. 101. Well, this is where the book gets screwy. It goes from 87 to 91 and 104 to 108. But I need one in between both those. Okay, this video is getting too long, but I'm going to end it right here. So I went to the transmission shop. The guy is so busy. I mean, it's like 10 people in line. He's got like 60 cars outside. Here's the one I took off the car. It's got 2 drain plugs. This one has 1 drain plug. Again, he was so busy he couldn't even talk. He just said take it home and let me know. He didn't charge me. So if we measure, I'm trying to do this with one hand. That's right there's about 7.5. That's totally wrong converter. So be careful. Again, he didn't charge me. He was busy. He's always busy. I don't know why he doesn't have a heart attack. So then I got I think I said in the beginning I had 10.5 in the way back where I said watch when you order these. So this one is 11 and a quarter. This is like 10 and a quarter. So that's what you gotta watch out for. The other thing is